Hi guys, it's Erin van Handel from ZMOC Sewing Blog, and welcome to another installment of Work in Progress. This episode is all about leggings, the trials and tribulations of me sewing 2 pairs of leggings. 1 pair worked out, 1 pair did not. Let's get into it. Hey guys, I am working on leggings this weekend. Let me show you the fabric that is going to be my new leggings. I have this kind of warm silver antique gold. There, you can kind of see it better now. I'm really excited about this because it's like a metallic, a neutral metallic, which I love. Then I've got this black dot. I'm bringing the camera here. You can see it's teeny tiny white dots on a black field, and I think this will be a nice kind of neutral with interest. Okay guys, I have my pattern pieces cut out. Those are the metallic leggings, black leggings with white dots. The only thing I don't have cut out right now is the crotch gusset, and I'm going to do something a little different with that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to line the crotch gusset with cotton, which I think is going to make it more comfortable versus having like a synthetic fabric all up in your business. Also, from time to time, I don't like to wear undies when I'm wearing leggings, just so you can have a super smooth line. And when you have a cotton crotch, it makes it way more comfortable. Let's talk about what's going on here. These are the items I'm going to use to line my crotch gusset. I am going to take this cotton knit from a t-shirt, that's a t-shirt sleeve, and I am going to use this basting adhesive and stick it to the wrong side, so it'll be wrong sides together of those 2 scraps from my leggings. You can see my crotch gusset, that little white triangle there, is very small, so I don't need very much in the way of leggings fabric. And I am going to do the basting adhesive on my newspaper there. So now I have sewn the waistband. There's the leggings waistband. And here is the lining and power mesh. Let's see if I can get color here. It's hard because we're right in front of a window. So now I need to sew the leggings fabric waistband and the mesh lining right sides together. So I'm going to do that on my sewing machine. And to hold my tubes of fabric here, it's a fabric tube, I'm going to be using these little clips, these, I think they're called Wonder Clips, because this metallic fabric on the kind of silvery gold leggings, I don't want to put any unnecessary pinholes in it. So let's get that underway. So what I'm going to do now is stitch this 3/8 inch elastic to the seam allowance. See? Seam allowance. And then once that is done, the mesh, the inside, part of the waistband, it's going to be understitched to the elastic. But I don't think you need to see that. You'll get the idea. You can see here what the inside looks like now that the lining, the mesh, power mesh lining is understitched to the elastic that was sewn to the seam allowance. All right, let's talk about crotch gussets. I have discovered a problem with my crotch gusset pattern, and you can kind of see here what it is. So this is with these two pairs of leggings. These are the second and third times I've used this crotch gusset pattern piece. And in my first pair of leggings, this tip had a very small hole, okay? This is a very sensitive place, and we don't want any holes. We don't ever want holes in our clothes. And I think what's happening is that there's too much, I made like too much seam allowance here basically. So what I think I should do is probably just like lop that seam allowance off. And I think that when I sew that gusset in, it'll be a lot better. Maybe I'll make like the whole pattern piece a little bit wider to kind of make up for that loss in kind of width. Honestly, with like stretch fabric, I don't think it matters too much. Like 1/4 of an inch, I don't think is going to matter much. I am pretty confident that when I sew the inseam right there of these leggings and the side seams too, the things are going to be just fine as far as not feeling like not being able to feel that the crotch gusset triangle is wonky. Cat clock. This one is even worse. Let's work on focusing here. This one is not my greatest work. But the serger hides a lot of sins, so we'll see how everything turns out. Okay, I want to amend what I was just saying. I think what I just need to do is take the tip of the triangle and make it a point. That would solve my problem, because then I wouldn't have to worry about like compensating for width. I just need to make the tip a point. And when I'm sewing it into the crotch seams, it should, I shouldn't end up, basically what's happening is I'm ending up with a little like gap because this is flat on the top. And the reason it's flat on the top is because when you're, I forget what the technical term is for this, but with your seam allowances, like you kind of have to think about like what they look like when they're joined. I can't really fold this when I'm holding my camera with one hand, but you can kind of see like, see how that like point, like there's no point kind of sticking out over here if this little part like extended, you know, like where that corner of the triangle were there. So I was very much in that mindset when I did the top of this, but I should have just left that be a triangle, like a full-on triangle, you know, pointed corner. So now I know that when I am using this pattern piece, that I don't worry about like my seam allowance, like correction, where I've like cut off the tips of the corners, if that makes sense. I think it does. I think it makes sense. Hello again. So I have sewn the bottom, the legs part of my leggings. I have not attached the waistband yet, and they're not hemmed yet. The fit is pretty good. I was a little concerned because of the crotch gusset, which it's kind of funny now how small the crotch gusset is. It just kept getting smaller and smaller and smaller. But things seem to be fine. And based on the way my pink leggings fit, the ones where I did the first crotch gusset, I think I'm going to be okay. So I want to show you how I'm going to sew up the waistband. And part of that is probably the most important part of how the waistband's going to get sewn on is the basting. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to baste the power mesh and the fashion fabric together. And I'm doing that in a way where the fashion fabric rolls a little bit. Let's see if you can see that. You can kind of tell. So the fashion fabric rolls a little bit to the inside. That way, when I am wearing the leggings, the nude, mesh won't show up on the outside. And the basting around the bottom here just holds everything in place to make sure that is what happens. So let's get to it. And you can see here, I hope you can see here, that I used a contrasting thread for basting instead of the black bobbin and black regular construction thread, because we want to make it easy to pull out this basting thread should I need to. But I'm kind of hoping, because the seam allowance here is half an inch, I'm kind of hoping that it's close enough to the edge that when I serge it, it's just going to be chomped off. So here's to hoping. I have some very sad news to report. I forgot to put right sides together, and I really screwed this up. I think, considering all the problems I had with the crotch gusset, that I probably am just going to cut a new pair of the metallic leggings. I'm really disappointed because I felt really good about sewing on the waistbands this evening and hemming and just having these two pairs of leggings done, and I just made a stupid no concentration error, and that's really hard. This is why we buy extra fabric, and it happens to the best of us. And this is also kind of a hazard of sewing at night, at least for me. My concentration and cognition is at its lowest point at this time of day. Unfortunately, it's a time of the day when I have a big chunk of minutes to work on stuff, and sometimes your brain is just tired and it's hard to concentrate. So I'm going to move on to the black pair with white dots and make darn sure that I've got right sides together. And finish that pair tonight. So, knock wood that all goes well. So that's my leggings story. What did you think? Can you relate? Please leave a comment with your latest sewing fail so I can have some sisters and brothers in commiseration, I guess. Now that I've had a night to sleep on my metallic leggings fail, I actually think that might have been in a way for the best, because when I did try them on without the waistband, the seams were really tight. Like you could really start to see some of the black stitching, which I think means that I didn't have enough like lateral width in the legging pattern. So what I'm going to do is I am going to trace off another pair of the gold leggings, and I'm going to add like a 1/4 inch to the outside. I'd say outside seam, but there's only one seam. There's just one inseam, but I'm going to add just a little bit of width, and I'm hoping that's enough to give width-wise with those leggings in that fabric. Okay, I am going to insert some video here so you can see how my black leggings turned out. These are the black leggings with a little white dot.